Hi everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. So excited. Y'all, I wasn't prepared for the delivery I got today. So, we got it. I got the Mcgrath holiday collection. So, there are so many pieces to begin with, and so much money. But was it worth it? I don't know, but we're about to find out. So, what did I purchase from this collection? Well, what I ended up going with was the two bigger palettes, these right here, and the 4 5 pan. I did not get the blush and bronzers and highlighter palette. Because two of them, I had the bronzers already. Now, the blushes, they look to be new, and the highlighters look to be new. I'm going to check on that, though. I never really did do a double check on that because I own all of her single blushes. I own so many palettes that have blushes in them that I didn't know. Okay? And to go through it all is like, I just sit there and shake my head, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, because it's overwhelming. But I will say that in these palettes, there are a repeat blush and a new blush. So the repeat blush is Nymphed in this one and Paradise Venus in this one. But I'm okay with that because actually those are my two favorite blushes to begin with, to be honest. Now, I bought that, and with the purchase of anything of $125, you got a free highlighter in, what was it called? Golden Moonlight, which, shocker, I didn't have this one. I don't know how. I have there's 4 of them in total, and I didn't get that one in the darkest one. I guess I just didn't think it would go with my skin tone, but it actually is lovely. I love the highlighter, and it was free. So, go me. That worked in my favor. But today we're going to concentrate on one of these palettes, which is this one right here. And this one is called Starstruck Splendour. And I thought we would go with this one. First off, the packaging. How do I feel about this? It's not just, it's nice cardboard for sure. It's not as luxe feeling as like her black components, but I do think it's thicker than her previous Christmas collections. And I do like the fact that it sits up. It's got an, as you can see, nice size mirror. And then you have your 2 blushes and the colors. Now, I did swatch these on my hand, which I will show you right now. So this here is all the swatches of the shadows, starting with the first and moving over and then down and then over. So last 3, middle 3, top 3. And this top one, this one right here, you know I wanted to smack that all over my lid. I didn't. I refrained. But you know I wanted to. Just know that. Now for the blushes, Nymphed is a pre-existing blush. And then Coral Cosmos is new, I believe. I didn't see that in my blushes, to be honest. Did I look that hard? No, not really. But I don't think it is. So I am wearing that today. And the swatches for the blushes are right here. So this one here is the Nymphed. And that's the Coral Cosmos, which I have on my cheek. And then I actually swatched the highlighter too, even though it's not part of this collection. I did get it with purchase, so. And you can see that it goes nicely with my skin tone. So here is this palette here, all swatched. It is so pretty. Now, is this something you need? Let's talk. First off, I use my Pat McGrath foundation, concealer, setting eye brightener, and then I set the rest of my face with my Lawless. And then the bronzer is Bronzed On, and then of course the blush and the highlighter is what I just showed you. So the first shade we're going to go into is this one right here. And we'll talk. Alright. what do I think so far? I'm not going to go over the whole collection. That will be final thoughts, I feel like. This is just going to be this palette. And to be honest, I do like this palette. I do. Now, I believe I've got this in a set, and it had a 10% off, or I believe it was 10% off. So, I can't say if it's going to be worth it overall because I haven't tried everything. But let's just concentrate on this palette, and I believe it's, what, $76? Am I correct with that? I might want to look, huh? Yep, $76 for this palette. So, let's just go with that. You do get 2 of her blushes. Now, I do like her blush formula. Now, one of them's a repeat shade. But if you don't have that shade, then you've got all new stuff. Now, if you have that shade, the question is A, do you like it? If you do, and it's one of your faves, then great. Like for myself, perfect. Okay? Because you'll use it all. You know what I mean? Everything will get used. Now, is this practical to travel, say? No, I'm not going to say it is. I do think that, yeah, it would be safe to travel because this cardboard is very sturdy. Absolutely 100% sturdy. No doubt there. But it's kind of, I mean, it's not that bulky, but in a way it kind of is. You know what I mean? In a way, no. In a way, yes. Do I think it's pretty? I do in a roundabout way. I think it's pretty, but it's not like elegant like the rest of her stuff. You know what I mean? When I think of Pat McGrath, I think elegant. Like that's the first word that pops in my head is elegant. And that's not it, but at the same time, $76, so it's not 129, I believe is what it is. So for one of her bigger palettes, so I mean, corners have to be cut. And I definitely don't want the quality to be cut. I will say that the shadows are performing wonderfully. They did swatch. The mattes kind of swatched a little dry, but they still swatch nicely. I mean, that's a matte, that's a matte, that's a matte, and that's a matte. You have 4 mattes and 5 metallic shades. So, I mean, you definitely got versatility also in this palette with different looks you want to go. I will say that as you'll get ready to see, we're going to go into this shade right here now. That it didn't go as dark as I thought it would. Like, I kind of expected this shade right there to be pretty darn dark brown, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that. Is that a big deal to me? No, huh? No. Because if you know me, you know that dark shades scare me anyway. But I'd still like to have something a little darker in my outer corner. Now, I did get there, but not with a matte, which you'll see. But I do think, like, you could go a bronzy look. You could go a bronze, you could go a more copper, you can go more green, you could even go more like pinky purple colored looks. And also the blushes, you can use them as eyeshadows too, just saying. I've done it before. Like if you want to do like a combine, like to sort of make it all flow, you could if you wanted to, if that's kind of look you're trying to achieve that day. Now, some people don't like her blush formula. It's hard to blend. I really don't have any issues with it. Keep in mind, I use natural hair brushes, my Refer. So I will say that I do feel like your tools are going to make a difference when it comes to her product. Because synthetic doesn't necessarily work the best. I'm just saying. But because I own both kinds of tools, I'm fine with it. And it's not that you can't make it work with synthetic, but if you use a synthetic brush and try to use her shadows, you're going to sit there and go, I don't see what all the fuss is about. I won't lie. Like, you will sit there and do that, because I did that. Until, I watched a video on, what tools should you use using her shadows, and it made the world of difference. I'm going to take that same shade that I just used in the outer corner and run it along the lower lash line. But I will say that there's really no deep, dark shade in this particular palette as far as the matte goes. But I don't feel like you need it necessarily for these shades, because I feel like it's a wash of color in a way. I think this is a nice, like, if you're going to a party or something, I think this definitely gives you every day, but yet it gives you a little bit of something, you know what I mean? So far, I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's funny because, like, I've been on a kick with blues and trying to figure out, like, how I can use them, if I can use them. Is it a color, because see, some colors just don't, they're not going to look good on certain skin tones, right? Well, I finally figured out a way to use blues. So then I said, let's go to greens. Well, lo and behold, this actually has greens in it, which I found funny because I'm trying to sit here and go, oh, how do I make this work? Because I have no clue. I am not a makeup artist, okay? I just like makeup. I'm not the best by no means, but I'm not the worst. Like, I put myself in a beginner category. That is probably where I'll spend, my days as a beginner. And that's okay. I'm not trying to be a makeup artist. Would I think that's cool? Sure. But at the same time, I just want to have fun. You know what I mean? It's my time when I do my makeup. I just want to have fun doing it. And at the end, I hope it turns out okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's the goal. Is hoping it turns out okay at the end. And for the most part, I feel like I can achieve that. I can't really tell you yet which palette I choose, because I've only played with this one as the stuff just came in today. So we'll be learning together on this, which is fun. That way you get my first impressions and what I'm thinking at that time. But I will do an overall, thought at the end. Now the 5 palettes that I got, they are, I think they're $36 a piece, if I'm correct there too. So 76 and 36. Those are weird. Why not make it a 5? I don't understand. I mean, not that it matters, $1, but I don't know. I like to round up. I either like to see a 0 there or a 5 for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just me. Okay, now that I got that down, I don't know if I got that lower lash line dark enough yet. I'm going to go back in, but I do want to get it somewhat there already. I'm using the Fake Awake by Tarte for my waterline. Alright, so here comes the fun part. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to lay the light green down, which is this shade right here, which is that shade right there. So far I started with this shade and then moved into this shade. Now we're going to go into that green. Yeah, that's what I did. So I'm going to pick up that light green. And we're going to put it on the lid. I didn't spray this. I'm trying to think. I did get a little bit of fallout on the other eye. I don't think I got it with this particular shade. I think it was the next shade. But that's okay. Again, that's on me. I didn't spray. I didn't lay down a glitter glue. I didn't do any of that. So I'm well aware of what can happen, But look at that. That is so pretty. And that's the lightest green. Look at that. And again, you can leave it here. And I think it'd be fine. But, as I was saying earlier, I kind of like to have that darker corner for whatever the reason, right? But I used the darkest mats, so the only thing I could come up with was, let's use the dark green, pick just a little bit of it up. Gosh, that's a pretty green. Look at that. Let's pick up a little bit of the darker green, this one right here, which is that one right there. Pick a little bit of it up and put it on the outer corner, was my thought, just to see. So I literally just put it on the outside like that. You can barely see the difference in the color, but it's there, you know what I mean? And this is a pretty green too, to be honest. And it's just a preference thing for me because, like I said, I like to have somewhat of a darker outer corner. I don't know why. It's just me, you know? So then I decided that, okay, we're going to go and, like, what shade could I use for my inner corner? Here's the thing. I so wanted to slap that all over my lid. You know I did. It's a pink. It's beautiful. Look at it. Like, but it doesn't have much of a base. I'm going to figure that one out. I think I got an idea for that. But we're going to pick up a little bit of it on this. And I'm just going to put it in my inner corner. Now, this is the shade that I actually got the most fallout on. Again, didn't spray it. Completely my fault. But, can you see how gorgeous that is? And it has a shift even, to be honest. We're going to put it on the lower lash line, or the lower part of the inner corner. Like, surely you can see it. I hope. I can see it. There we go. Just depending on how the light hits that, though. But I did get fallout with this shade. But, again, my fault. But am I worried about it? No. When it's that pretty? Nope. Give me all the fallout you want. I'm going to go back into that lighter green and sort of pack it on a little bit better. Again, if I sprayed it, I would get so much more payoff too. But that's not where I'm going right now. But the other way, the other part I got fallout on is because the inner corner shade, I had to get it on my lid. Okay, so this is what this eye looks like with that, what I'm about to do. As you can see, this isn't as much metallic, alright? And it's because what I done was I picked up that pink shade, or the shade I used for my inner corner, and I just put it right in the middle. And this is where I got the fallout, to be fair. Because this shade's very crumbly. But when it looks that pretty, do I care? No, look. My eye looks wet. Like, it's beautiful. And it's got this shift now of like pink and green, and it's just gorgeous, you all. But the green is still there. So I'm still technically wearing green. Just saying. But I did get fallout by doing that. Just so you know. Actually, I might have been a little bit easier this time because I didn't have that much fallout. Oh, yes. Go me. And I will say her blushes lay so nice on the skin. The same with the bronzers and the highlighters. Like, I feel like Pat Mcgrath, when she nails something, she nails it. Now, this blush is the same as she's been coming out with. The blushes that were the baked blushes, those are different than these. I like those too, though. But just no, they're not the same. Like, I wish she would come out with some of them, though. We're going to take that shade that I used, that darkest shade that I used for the matte, and we're going to line the lash line with it. And I will say that I could have taken that dark green metallic shade, I think, and lined the lash line, and I think that would have looked pretty too. Like, there's a lot of options for 9 shades, to be fair. And the blushes are absolutely gorgeous. And I think they pair really well with the color story. And I feel that like that with both palettes just by looking at them. But if you're kind of looking like wanting different, I think this is probably the most different than what she's been coming out with lately, because there is a little bit of pop of here and there as far as like the 2 bigger palettes. The smaller palettes are a little different, but not really. If I wasn't such a lover of this brand, and like if I truly didn't like the formula and stuff, but I do like their formula and I love the color stories. Repetitive, sure, maybe, but is it still good? Absolutely. I may not have gotten the 5-pan palettes, at least not all of them, because some of them, they're different, sure, but they're kind of really close to the 5 pans I have already, to be fair. But I do think that these 2 bigger palettes, especially this one, is a little bit different. Alright, now that I did that, we're going to go ahead and use I'm going to blend that out real quick, baby. We're going to use the Pat McGrath mascara. I didn't buy any of the colors. I don't know. Well, the one I feel like I have, that turquoise one, it's close. If it's not the same as the one previous, then it's darn close. And so the red and the like dark green, I just don't know how I feel about that. In a way, because I'm learning to do green looks, that green could come in handy. But I'm so uncomfortable with green looks that I think if I topped it with a green mascara, I think it just, I wouldn't feel comfortable, you know? And I do think this would look good with the black or brown mascara also. Whatever you'd like to wear. But I also think this palette, like I said, you can definitely like take it like this and wham bam in your face type of thing. Or you can definitely tone it down. It's just whatever you prefer. And whatever look you're going for the day. But I will say I do like this. And honestly, I've liked all of her Christmas stuff. Just because it is a little different in a way. And it's at a better price point. Although when you start adding up everything, that price point adds up. Alright. I think that's about as good as we're going to get with the mascara. Or we all know I'll have a mess made here. And I want to really, give each palette its own moment. That's why I just wasn't even going to try to combine them into one video. Because if I did that, I wouldn't, I really want to get my thought process behind them. But I wanted to get the videos up as soon as possible. So, we're just going to do a look with each of them. Post daily and go from there. That is my thought process. Alright, I'm using the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash for the bottom lashes. And we're done. So, for this palette overall, I like it. I like it a lot. I do wish, the only thing I can say is I wish there was a darker matte, but I also understand the color story as it is, you know what I mean? And since I have so many, it's not like I couldn't pull from another palette. For an example, like this one right here, it has a darker color in it that may go very well with this palette, you know? So there are definitely, these palettes could be companions even to these particular palettes or stand alone. I don't know yet, but we shall see as we go. But this is the final look using the Starstruck Splendour palette. And I'll say that Nymphet is one of my very favorite blushes. I think it'd be number 2. I think Flirtatious technically is my favorite, but Nymphet would be 2 if I was choosing like from her original line. So I'm kind of glad that's in here because it gives me kind of like a backup. And the Coral Cosmos, I like it. I think it's a pretty color. It's exactly what it is. It's like a pinky coral color, you know? And I like that. As far as the colors, do I have these shades in other palettes? Maybe. But I don't care because this one shade, Opalescent Moonstone, I need that in a single. I'm going to need that right there in a single. That's all I can say. Like, I need that in my life. It is so close to, what did I just review? That ColourPop one. Now, it had more of a base behind it, though. What color was that called? That was the, I think it was this one, wasn't it? No, it was this one. Yeah, so it's got a little more, it's a little bit different. It's always there. That one right there, I said it would be a great one and done. And it is a little bit different than that one. Just because the one in the ColourPop one has more of a base. But the one from Pat McGrath looks more wet, more metallic. I don't know. I mean, they're different for sure. But this one is the one from ColourPop and this one's the one from Pat McGrath. But these are the type of shades that I adore. These type right here. But I'm going to need that in a single. Thank you very much, please. I probably won't ever get that, I'm sure. But if she came out with a single of that, I'm all over it. And the highlighter, I'm glad that came as a freebie. It works well. So I am starting to wonder if I do need to get the blushes. I'm this close, and I hate that. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, well, I could just get rid of. I mean, I go through bronzer anyway, so eventually maybe I would need it, you know. But I say yes to this one. $76, and you get the 10% off. So know that. But I say yes. I think it's beautiful. Stunning. And again, that's the color story and the 2 blushes right there. So it's really just up to you on if you like the color story. Formulas are great. So I like it. But let me know, did you get this? Are you still thinking about it? Are you like, nope, out of my price range? Let me know. Or is it just not worth the hype? You know what I mean? I'm curious on your thoughts because I think it's great. You know what I mean? But I think everything she releases is great. So you can't really take me, you have to take me with a grain of salt when I say this stuff. Like, that's why I use it in front of you so you can actually see it with your own eyes because I think it's wonderful. I think it is easy for me to use. It's effortlessly, it's just everything I want when I'm doing my makeup. But that doesn't mean it's everything you want. So keep that in mind also. And because that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, you know. But let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all. That way you're notified when I upload. I upload every day but Sunday, and it looks like with the amount of palettes I have here, this week will be a Pat Mcgrath week. So, that's all I have for you today, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.